Well, I always knew that I wanted to be an attorney. I went to college and studied political science. But the summer between my second and third year of law school, I had an opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. for a 12-week internship with Congressman Ralph Regula. And the day before I was leaving, I was putting everything I owned into storage. I packed all of my boxes in the garage and intended to go pick up a U-Haul the next morning. And when I opened the garage the next morning, it had been burglarized. And I learned a lot from that experience. They stole some valuable things, and they damaged a lot of things that were valuable to me. I learned the difference between robbery and burglary and breaking and entering. I had the opportunity to testify before the grand jury, and it really meant a lot to me, the victim advocates who kind of held my hand and walked me through the process. I was so impressed by the prosecutors who handled my case. It was resolved, and I never got restitution. I learned the value of renter's insurance. But just having your sense of safety disrupted by something like that changed the way I looked at the world. And I think it happens that way for all victims of crime. So when I had the opportunity to work for the City of Akron Law Department and then for the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, I jumped at the chance. It was a really great opportunity, and I loved working with victims and witnesses. I loved the interaction with the police, with defense counsel, with judges. It's just a great atmosphere. Well, the best thing about being a prosecutor is getting the justice that victims are looking for. And as a side, an additional aspect of it is getting the help sometimes that the defendants need. Not every victim wants to see the defendant go to prison. A lot of them are looking for a genuine apology and real treatment, rehabilitation. And sometimes we are able to achieve that, and it's very gratifying. I mean, we don't always get thanks, but we get the feeling that we're contributing to the system. Years ago, one of my supervisors asked me why I became an attorney, and I said I wanted to make a difference. And he said, "Oh, you're one of those people. Don't worry, you'll get over that." And I dug in my heels and said, I'm never going to get over that. And I'm proud to say that I still feel that way. I'm happy to make a difference in people's lives. Sometimes it's very minor, sometimes it's a really big difference. But either way, I feel like we're doing the good work in our community that we all set out to do. I think the most challenging thing is not getting the results that we hoped for. We're all very driven by the passion that we have for justice, and sometimes justice doesn't look the same for different people. We all consider what's the best outcome for the victim, what's the best outcome for the community. And it's not always prison. I mean, like I said before, a lot of times it's treatment. People are often driven by either mental illness or substance abuse or a combination of both. I think it's rare, the cases that I see where people are actually driven by evil. But it's very challenging, it's difficult when we attempt to achieve a certain result and we fall short. Sometimes it's because of the rules of evidence. Sometimes it's because of uncooperative witnesses, and every one of those things can be frustrating. I spent about 3 years as the child sex abuse prosecutor, and I remember all of those cases. I would always have the young victims in my office or in a room within the office, and I always made it a point to sit on the floor with them at the coffee table and draw or color while we were talking. And they always drew me pictures and they would sign their name, and I've kept those to this day. There's one case in particular that I remember. A young girl was molested repeatedly over a period of a few years by her grandmother's boyfriend. She was preschool, kindergarten, first grade at the time. And he went to prison in 1999 for a period of 27 years. And that's just one of the many cases where we did get the outcome that we achieved. But I think about that young girl from time to time and how she's doing, and how this has impacted her life, because there's no escaping it. Certainly she experienced that trauma to this day, and she will continue for the rest of her life. But I hope that achieving justice helped. Well, I think, at least in my opinion, people attribute to us this desire to win at all costs. Certainly we see that on television, and that's just not realistic. I've seen people over the years who become a prosecutor and it doesn't turn out to be the way they thought, so they move into a different aspect of the law. Those of us who stay for our entire career, we do it because we love it, because we feel passionate about it. And like I said, achieving justice isn't always sending somebody to prison. Death penalty cases are extremely rare, and we don't win at all costs. I've dismissed a number of cases over the years. I don't think people realize how much the grand jury screens out cases that are not indicted, cases that are amended to a misdemeanor or amended to a different charge because it's the more appropriate charge. So really, achieving justice isn't just about convictions. It's a lot more about getting the right result, and it's not always a win. I don't really look at them as wins and losses, more as successes and learning experiences, I guess.